Everybody. Welcome to our podcast. You're tuned into Time Zones and Time Meters, a podcast where we venture through progressive music through borders, styles, and eras. I'm your host, Josh, the prog wanderer, and alongside me is my sort of co-host, Simon, from Simon's Album Reviews. How are you doing, Simon? You good?
Just fine. I'm just fine. It's
good. I'm excited about today. I'm really excited because we've got a special guest joining us. So hailing from South America, she's a passionate lover of progressive music, bringer of a deep appreciation for some of Peru's most sort of exciting bands. And it's our pleasure to welcome Lupe to the show today. How are you doing?
Hi, super happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, it's great to have you along. Today, our plan is to be asking both you and Simon for a few recommendations of songs, and I'm just going to write notes fastidiously because I'm just wanting to add to my music collection, basically. So maybe what we could start with is just a few little questions, probably best just to begin with, just so that everybody gets a chance to know you and know what you're about. So I just thought I'd ask, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you first got into progressive music?
Wow, that's a good question. I am a really curious person. My curiosity is really big. I start listening to classic rock, then metal, then prog rock. I think my real introduction to prog was Opeth, because I have already listened to some classic prog bands, Crimson, Camel, but when I listened to Opeth, I fell in love with prog, and I start to look for more and more bands.
Did I see somewhere, maybe on your channel, that you have a tattoo on your forearm as well?
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. So
Yes.
you like them that much?
Yes, a lot.
They're awesome, and I know a lot of people have sort of ventured into the progressive scene because of the band Opeth as well. So I think you're one of quite a few people. What do you think the progressive music scene in Peru is?
Sadly, there are really a few bands. There are not many fans of prog. It hurts my soul, but it's the truth. When Lepros play here in like 6 years ago, there were really few people, and it was sad. Yes, Caligula's horse also play here. A few people too. It was sad.
Yeah, that's cool. I saw Lepros just last year, actually, and also Caligula's horses from Australia too. So, I mean, you obviously know, but just for anyone that's tuning in too, so that's someone from my country. Simon, did you have any questions for Lupe as well, just as we go? I don't want to cut you out of the conversation.
I think they will come during, because I am not a big, I'm not an authority on South American prog or South American music at all. Like I spoke to Lupe a little bit about how I have a lot of friends from Chile, and it seems like, of course, they are bordering countries, but it seems like Chileans and Peruvians are on good terms with each other, right? It's
yes, now yes.
Yeah.
200 years ago, no, but now yes, we are friends
Right.
with.
It's like with the Swedes and the Danes, I guess. Yeah.
So what I was going to do today is just basically ask you guys about artists from South America. We were just going to broaden it, so feel free to just comment about those ones. But just before we do that, I just wanted to ask one more thing. Like, what is it about progressive music that you like most, Lupe? Like, is there something that you just love about this genre specifically? And are those things we're going to see in your band recommendations?
I like when music surprise me. Yes, that's something I love about progressive rock, and I like when musicians break boundaries. They don't follow rules.
Yeah, totally.
Something that I really love. Experimentation.
Yeah, and that's what defines the genre, really, is stepping outside of the standard things, right? I think both Simon and I agree.
Do you play an instrument yourself?
A little of flute.
Yeah.
Yes, because I fell in love with Jethro Tull, and I said I need to learn to play the flute. I used
We were
to
just
play the
talking about.
drums years ago. I was
Ah,
learning to play the drums, but later I fell in love with flute.
yeah, awesome. We were talking about Jethro Tull just the other day in one of our previous episodes too. So, oh, that's cool. Awesome. All right, yeah, absolutely. So I was just going to say, can you share like a band with us? Tell us a little bit about them, where they're from,
Oh,
and tell us what you love about them.
one band first.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Traffic Sound. They are a band from the late 60s. They have a short life. This band is actually more psychedelic than prog rock, but they are released on prog archive, so I think it's okay to mention them. They fuse psychedelic rock with Andean music, but more with Latin American rhythms. They have sax and flute. It's a really interesting band. They were super famous in the 70s and 60s. Everyone want to have them in their parties. They, it's a really nice band. Um, there is an album called Virgin that is their first album, and then they have a self-titled album that is really nice too. Their most popular song is called Mezcalina. It's wow, it's really nice.
Have you heard it, Simon? Are you aware of this band?
Yeah, well, because of Lupe.
Yeah, right. Cool. I've
Mhm.
never heard of them. And you're the aficionado when it comes to like the 1960s prog, Simon, and
Yes.
I'm the junior here. So so that's really cool. I've written them down. Is there something like specific about their sound that you really think is different to any other bands? Do they bring
Yes.
anything that's
Actually, in those years, they were one of the first bands that decided to make fusion. There were other bands that mixed the psychedelic rock with Peruvian music, but they were pioneers, one of the pioneers in doing that. And wow, I love them really. I was lucky to see them. I also interviewed two of them,
oh
the
wow, cool.
saxophonist and the bass player.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, great. Have you listened to them yet, Simon? Do you have any quick thoughts?
Yeah, I have listened to them, but only very little. It's within the last week, so I cannot really say too much.
Yes,
Or I can
you.
say it sounds good, but I can say I can talk in detail about it.
Another cool thing is that well, they sing in English. One of the few bands that dig dug in the 70s here. You can feel the Jethro Tull influence in the flute.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we'll definitely have to check them out for sure. What about you, Simon? We'll jump over to you. Have you got something from South America that you just love and wanted to
Right,
share?
right. Yeah, I prepared three South American bands, uh, kind of like a top three, I guess I did for me. And on my third spot, I would say a band that for me gets the Medal of Honor for long service because this, or at least that's the band that I listen to the longest of these bands, and it's one of those bands that are somewhere between power metal and progressive metal. Um, Angra from Brazil. Um, I've listened to them a lot around 2000 when they. I mean, they were really early, right? Because then they even had like a hiatus and came back. So I guess it's like the first generation of bands that were inspired by Queensryche, um, and it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I reviewed like an album of theirs recently, and I said it's like a mix of Dream Theater and Halloween, I would say. But you also have some South American influences. or at least like Brazilian influences, which you can hear. Yeah, it's a good band. It's a good band. It's my number 3.
Yeah, okay. Is there anything that makes them like really, really unique compared to other sort of progressive acts that are around, or?
Well, like I said, it is very. I think they started in the early '90s, so it's they didn't have that much option to be inspired from, right? And I think they really come from the Queensryche category of the first generation progressive metal. It's not overly progressive. It's more power metal, but yeah, and indeed you have little Latin rhythms and stuff like that. So it's
Yeah.
For metal, for if you like power metal and you love progressive stuff, it's an obvious choice if you've been sleeping on that.
Awesome. All right. Well, look, let's jump across then. So, Lupe, let's give it a go. What's your second one?
Okay, now let's talk about a band from a modern band because they are from late 90s. This band is called Flor de Loto. Is lotus flower. they fused to rock with ambient music, but later they start to incorporate heavy metal in their music. They start as an instrumental band, but then they start to add lyrics. They use a lot of instruments like charango. It's a small guitar, like a small guitar is a string instrument. Yes, yep. Quena. I have a quena here. This is a quena. It's a wind instrument. It's similar to a flute. Well, it's a kind of flute. Also, they use zampoña. A zampoña is like a pan flute, but with 2 rows of pipes. Many different instruments. I really like these guys. They have worked with a producer called Roy C. Roy C has worked with Bruce Dickinson and Rob Halford. This guy says that Flor de Loto sounds as Jethro Tull and Iron Maiden have met in the ruins of Machu Picchu. This is what he says. And I really like this description. I think it speaks really well with them.
That's a combination.
Yes.
Iron Maiden mixed with Jethro Tull. Yeah, okay.
Yes, and the guitar player and the guy who plays the wind instruments have participated in one album with Bruce Dickinson. I don't know the name of the album, but they have worked together. It's a really nice band. I have seen them live many times, and I really like them.
Yeah, awesome. That's great. You're probably going to have to spell that one. We'll put in the comments below for those that that might not have got that one. But yeah, we'll put that in the comments below. I'm interested in that. That sounds really cool.
That sounds lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. You haven't heard of those guys at all, Simon?
I have not heard of them. No. I definitely will listen to that. Yeah.
Yes.
This is a huge win. So we've got for me 2, right? So that's good. Actually 3 because I didn't know anything either. So, all right, let's pass across to Simon again. What have you got next? What's your number 2?
Okay, so my number 2. Well, of course, should be said that me and Josh we stumbled across each other because we put our reviews of albums or reviews or passions about prog albums on Instagram. And there's like a little community there where we share music with each other. And I have a lot of Argentinian people there. And well, I got a lot of band tips from Argentina. They have a lot of good prog in Argentina. Yeah. And it was a bit difficult to find what is my favorite Argentinian band, but I had to put one of those in there. And I think with tough competition from bands like La Máquina de Hacer Payaros, and also there is this. The number one has to be Invisible, which is probably also one of the most known bands from Argentina, I think. But yeah, I cannot. I don't know if I can describe what makes them special, but they have really good songs, and yeah, it's just good classic like 70s prog and from Argentina. It's and the best of it. Lupe,
do they remind you of anybody?
Right? Sorry.
Do they remind you of anybody?
Maybe a little bit. I often come back to Genesis, but it's not quite. It's more flowing than Genesis, I would say. Yeah. Lupe, do you have an opinion on them?
Well, I love Argentinian prog. I did a video about Argentinian prog on my channel, and it's the one that has the most views. Argentinians are crazy about their music. They really love to share their stuff. They really support the musicians. I really like the bands you have mentioned and many more. Yes,
do you think this band has a specific sound? How would you describe them, Lupe?
I agree with him. I think you can feel the British influence of rock, but Argentinians also have a really special way to sing. They sing in a really particular way. You can also feel the accent, you know. Here in Latin America, we really feel the difference between the accents and Argentinians. You listen to the music and say, they are from Argentina.
Yeah, right. Awesome. And do they sing in English?
Most of them sing in Spanish. Most bands from Argentina.
Yep, cool. Awesome. That's great. Well, I'm going to pop them down as well. Again, spelling. I just tried to look them up quickly and couldn't. I think I butchered the name. So
Invisible with an S.
Oh, okay. That's easy. Okay, well, let's jump across then. So what have we got as our next one?
Okay, the next one is a band that is from like 10 years ago. Their name is Actitud Modulada. These guys are also a fusion prog band. I decided to show you fusion bands because I saw I had to recommend something that makes a difference. You know, I didn't want to recommend something that sounds too British or too European. Okay, these guys made a fusion with different styles of Peruvian music, like Afro-Peruvian music, like Landó, that is a kind of Afro-Peruvian rhythm, and also música criolla, that is music. It's a lot to explain, but it's a kind of Peruvian music that has influence from also Afro-Peruvian, but also Spanish. Is really interesting. I was lucky to work with them because I am a photographer and filmmaker, and they hired me for taking pictures when they record their first and second album. They record the two albums together. It was like 3 days, like 11 hours each day. It was a super beautiful experience. Later, they recorded in Lima, but they made a master in Abbey Road. They made a crowdfunding to finish their album in Abbey Road. And it's really nice. The lyrics are super special. The singer and writer is a writer, a professional writer, and he's a professor in a university. So the lyrics are really special. They are in Spanish, but super nice lyrics.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
That's a nice little tidbit there too. So what were they like as people if you spent that much time with them? Were they nice? Did you get to
Yes, they
know
are nice
anything?
and funny too. They are. I am going to send them this video. Yes,
Awesome.
definitely.
So then she
They
cannot
are
say that
super
they're
nice.
assholes.
That's
It,
right.
it,
That's right. Okay, yeah, we'll be careful then. We'll have to get the real goss later. I'm joking, of course. All right, well, that's awesome. That's a great one as well, then, and personal as well, which is really cool. What about you, Simon? Have you got what's your one?
Okay, my number one. Well, I had to think about this for a little while because sometimes if you if you have a relationship and everything feels good, yet after 2 months you're not going to move in together, right? That would be irresponsible. It would be silly. But with this thing, I thought, okay, it's a newfound love. I'm still going to put them as the number one here, even though I have yet not discovered the whole discography.
It's like the honeymoon phase at the moment.
Exactly. I'm still in the honeymoon phase. But this is a band that Lupe introduced to me when we started talking here. This Los Jaivas from Chile. It's man, when she introduced this band to me, it blew my mind. It's really good stuff. I've really spent a lot of time with this band lately. It's very, you really hear the Andean folk music, and I guess like one of their older records from the 70s is a little bit like I guess it's like acid folk, but then the South American version. Like it's 1 second you think, oh, this is just classic Andean folk music, but then the next track is like free jazz. So it's they really include everything there. And then one of their later records from the early 80s, something Machu Picchu. It's more progressive rock, but they just excel in it. And I also saw the video from Machu Picchu. Well, they've been there twice, and the second time around they have a female drummer. We're right. That's pretty cool. You don't see that every day. But yeah, it's top-notch band. I'm very grateful for that recommendation. It's muchas gracias.
That sounds cool. Do you want to add anything to that, Lupe? Considering you recommended
Yes,
it to me?
I am super happy you like Los Jaivas. I love Los Jaivas. They are one of my favorite bands. For me, there is a song called La Poderosa Muerte that is like the powerful death. For me, that is one of the most beautiful, complex, and amazing songs that have been written here. Well, I think they write the song in France, but because they were in France when they wrote the album is what I read. But for me, it's one of the most beautiful bands made by a Latin American band. I love that album, really. Um, that that video that they made in Machu Picchu, it was for a show. It's supposed that they were going to play with more bands, but at the end, the Jaivas play alone in Machu Picchu. I have gone to Machu Picchu once, and it's really difficult to go. The permissions, the government never give permissions, but they give the permission to Los Jaivas to play there, and that's really cool.
Yeah, I
They
understand that Pink
took
Floyd.
a piano and a drums there.
I understand that Pink Floyd also wanted to play there, but they were not allowed.
Right.
I didn't know.
And I guess this is a little bit like Pink Floyd played at.
In Pompeii.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a little bit like the same thing, but I guess Machu Picchu is more majestic, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
it's
never
really
been. Machu Picchu is one of my like bucket list destinations. So hopefully I
you have.
can do it when I'm fit enough. That's that's cool. That's great recommendation. So that's both of you have done 3 now, haven't you?
We have.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, fantastic. That's great. Was there any special mentions that you wanted to talk about, or anyone else you just want to list a few people that could be worth like looking up?
Yes, now you talk about Jaivas and you mention you seen that you listen. They are a little acid folk. There is a band here from the 70s called El Polen. El Polen are friends with los Jaivas. They both bands were hippies. They spent a lot of time together. El Polen is a band that I really love from here. They are, for me, they are acid folk, like a Comus, but from Peru. I also have interviewed them long ago because I am making a documentary about the history of Peruvian rock. So I have interviewed a lot of those old guys, a lot of those grandpas that made music in those years. Yes, I love El Polen. I really recommend them.
Yeah,
Also,
awesome.
there is a band from Peru. Sorry if I talk too much.
No,
that
please. This is
is,
why you're on. It's for
yes,
you to talk, not us this
is
time.
this guy's a band is called Cholo Visceral. They are more experimental. They are really crazy. I used to, well, not they used to be my friends, no, because they are my friends, some of them, but I don't see them since long ago. But I don't say this because they are my friends, but they are they are really good. There is also another band that I think they are now updated. It's called Supai. It's a young no grown. Supai means devil in Quechua. They are also a fusion of metal and prog rock, and ambient music. I think I am forgetting. There are many
Are
bands.
they a little bit more modern?
Forgetting, yes.
Are they a little bit more modern in feeling? Like
Yes.
yeah.
For example, Cholo Visceral is a modern band. Supai maybe is from 20 years ago, or I don't remember, but they are not from the 70s. I was forgetting. The most popular prog band from here is called Frágil. I think they call Frágil because of the Yes album Fragile, and they are from the 80s. But I didn't want to talk about them because they are more popular. Yes, maybe from another countries. There are many bands in Brazil that I like. There is a band called uh, A Barca do Sol. I think it's like the Book of the Sun, something like that.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Well, look, what I might do is I'll get you to send us I don't know, like just a list of some of these names with just a quick little description next to them, maybe, and I'll get Simon to pop them into the comment section or the blurb below.
I'll pop them in on the screen.
Yeah, awesome. That's even better. And then we can what we can do is be able to recommend them that way for everybody as well. But look, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on board. Thank you so much for joining us today. I had fun, and not just that. You can
check out her channel. I mean, she has more views than us. I think the traffic will be more. It's better for us than for her. But if you haven't, check out Lupe's channel. It's awesome.
Yeah, the musical puzzle, right?
Thank you.
Musical puzzle. Yeah, and look, for what it's worth too, like us, we would love like you watchers who are out there in the background to like and subscribe to like either of our channels would be fantastic. It helps us with our algorithm, helps us get a bit more exposure, because really ultimately the whole purpose of what we're doing today is just to be able to, you know, make new friends, meet new people, and share in sort of the progressive music sort of scene, right? So the more people that get to see us, the more bands we get to find out about, and the more interviews like this we get to do too. So thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the session as well.
Thank you so much, guys. It was really nice to meet you. I hope this is not the only time, and I hope to invite you to my channel.
Yeah, no, and look, I had a bit of a look at it just the other week as well, but and there was some really cool stuff on there. So I recommend it. Simon recommends it for those that have checked it out. Maybe you know, share, comment, and you know, I'd love to discuss it with you guys too.
And let us know what your South American top bands are.
Yeah, well,
Mine,
I'm gonna have
top.
to do some I'm gonna have to do some work as well, and so I'll do some research in the background, and in like 6 months we might come back, do a review through it, and I'll have to let you know what I discovered and think's the best out of what you guys offered too.
Nice plan.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today. We'll call it there. We'll say goodbye. Have a great evening, and yeah, we'll talk to you guys hopefully next week. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye, see ya. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you. And where's the button? Where's the button?
You're gonna have to fix that one, aren't you?
There is a guy with a door.